All right, welcome back to, I'm in Uptown Motivo this time round. Sitting across from me is, a different Kayla, not my wife, Kayla, but another Mama Kay.
Yeah.
She is a YouTuber. She's found some success, you know, documenting her venture into motherhood. Kayla, go ahead and introduce yourself and where people can find you, first of all.
Well, I'm Kayla. I am a very young mom. I'm 20 years old, and that's kind of what brought me into, I guess, social media influencing or doing YouTube. Me and my now husband started YouTube because we basically just did it for us. We just wanted to be able to track our daughter's life and be able to look back on videos and watch her grow up. So I'm on YouTube as Mama Kay now, and I'm also on Instagram as Mama Kay, and I'm also on Instagram as Kayla Dixon Photography.
Yeah, so there's a few things going on.
Yeah.
Kind of what kicked everything off, though, was kind of your announcement / you vlogged kind of through the birthing and kind of watching. You have a lot of videos out there, so give someone kind of the rundown of the start of the videos if they don't have time to watch them all, but they will when they find time.
Well, the first video I think we did, I did a baby girl clothing haul as my first video, and then the first video I did with my husband was how we told our parents we were pregnant.
How did that go?
My mother was amazing. We were actually right on this crosswalk. She asked me to go for a walk with her, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll go. And I was like, maybe this is when I'll tell her. And so we were literally crossing right there, and I said, Mom, I have to tell you something. And she's like, you're pregnant. And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, what do you want to do?
Sounds a lot like what my mom basically said when I said we were expecting.
Yeah, she's like, so what's gonna happen now? And I was like, well, I don't know. And she's like, well, we should go to the doctors. I was like, okay, so let's go to the doctors and just go from there and see how that goes. And we were concerned because it was my grad weekend. Mm-hmm. So I was drinking, and I was very concerned about that. She was concerned about that, and we went to the doctor. He's like, you are way too early to be concerned about that. As long as you stop now, you're totally fine. So we continued from there, and now we have our daughter, who's 16 months old, and it's amazing. It's pretty cool.
Okay, and it looks like you guys got a basement suite kind of.
We do, yeah, we have a basement suite. So we actually rent out our basement suite from Nolan's parents. They completely redid it for us, and it's pretty awesome. We wanted to move out, and Nolan's dad was like, nope, you guys need to save money, so we'll build you a basement suite, and then you can rent from us. And so that's been amazing. It's obviously so helpful. And living with your parents and in-laws, your parents, mm-hmm. it's actually really great because we always have someone to help us out all the time. And anytime we have a problem down there, my father-in-law is always down right away to come fix it. And yeah, he's just amazing. He does everything for us.
So at some point you guys switched over from being high school sweethearts, and you guys got married.
Yeah.
When did you guys get married?
This year, February 10th.
Where did you get it? In town?
Vancouver, actually.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
What was the draw to Vancouver?
We wanted to do an elopement with our family, and so the elopement that we did was through Young, Hip, and Married, and they usually are based in Vancouver. They do travel a bit, but we were like, no, let's just go to Vancouver. It's beautiful there.
I'm assuming girls listening to this know what Young, Hip, and Married is. I have no idea what that is.
I didn't know what it was either until my friend's mom brought it up to me. And
is it like a wedding in a box?
Basically, it's like an elopement package, so you can choose your package that you want. We chose, I think it was the ceremony plus photography package, which came to $700, which is pretty sweet, especially for photography.
Yep.
$700 is cheap for photography alone. So we did that, and we were gonna get married downtown Vancouver. And literally an hour before we were about to get married, I called my photographer, and I was like, hey, do you think we can move it to the backyard of the person's house we're staying at? And they were like, yeah, absolutely, we can do that. And her house is gorgeous. There's trees everywhere and this huge backyard. And so we literally just got married in the backyard.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was awesome. We had our closest family there, and that was it. And then a couple friends. It was perfect.
Yeah, my business side of my mind's going haywire. Being like, I want to put a wedding in a box.
Yeah.
Luckily, I wasn't the one running the budget on the wedding on my half, but it adds up pretty quick.
It sure does.
And so, obviously, you now have a 60-month-old daughter.
Yeah.
What challenges are you finding yourself facing that you weren't prepared for when you first expected that you're gonna have a kid?
She is sassy.
She's sassy.
She's very sassy. Yeah.
Does that come from you or Nolan?
Nolan, for sure. I'm like the nicest person ever. I'm not sassy at all. So she definitely gets it from her dad, and I think he knows that. And she just, if you say no to her, she'll just like give you the grumpiest face. She'll even hit my leg sometimes now, and I'm just like, no, you can't do that. That's not how things work. But yeah, she is so sassy. And I think it's just also adjusting to being a young parent is really hard, I have to say. It's gotten so much better, but in the beginning it's so isolating, and I wasn't really prepared for that. Luckily, I do have a lot of like people on social media that are there for me, and it's social media is like so great that way because I can just connect with all these people that I wouldn't be able to do. Like I wouldn't have that connection with anyone.
So where does social media fall into play with all this? Like, are you concerned about your daughter's involvement in social media for growth in later years, or?
I don't think so. I think up until there's a point where if she wants to do her own thing, if she doesn't want to be on social media, like when she gets older, then that's fine. She doesn't have to do that, obviously. So I think for now, until something like really alarming like happens, I'm feeling pretty comfortable at where I am. But yeah.
I have to admit, I don't post much about my daughter,
right,
if anything,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
I don't think I've done a straight-on face shot to.
And me,
to
my
nothing.
whole like thing is about like my daughter.
Yeah, we're on total opposite sides, right?
Yeah.
But how does that all work when you were going through a period of time that was highly stressful, but you weren't involving outside people that weren't really in your circle of trust to begin with? How did you overcome those fears for the people who might be having trouble sharing their story, even though we have these great tools like podcasts and YouTube and Facebook?
Right.
How did you overcome that hump of fear, or did you ever have that fear?
Oh, I totally had that fear. Putting myself out there on the internet for everyone to see, for me, it wasn't even like people from different cities or anything. I didn't care about that. It was like people I went to school with and stuff. I was like, oh, what are they going to think about me being on the internet? And I think I had really positive reactions. Luckily, I know a lot of people don't have positive reactions and kind of get made fun of to be on YouTube and stuff and putting their life out there like that. And I actually had a really good reaction from the majority of people, which I really appreciate because I'm not a kind of person that takes, I guess, like criticism. Well, not even criticism. Like if it's constructive criticism, I can take it well. But I just had to do it. I just couldn't it's something I wanted to do since I was 11. I think I started watching YouTube, and it started with like makeup tutorials, and it was like 11-year-old me sitting in my bedroom wishing I was allowed to wear makeup and like watching all these beauty gurus on YouTube. So I kind of just, Riley was like my push to just do something that I wanted to do for a really long time.
Totally. I get that. And through this podcast and well, I'm gonna try my hand at vlogging again because that's a narrative style that I'm not very good at.
Right.
I find myself kind of growing a little bit, and hopefully there's documentation and growth. Have you found yourself in these last 2 years? Can you see the changes through your videos, or what is the biggest change that you've seen in yourself through these videos, if you ever reflect?
I'm definitely more mature than I was when I first started the videos. I've always been mature for my age, but I can still see a drastic difference just looking back on those videos, I like my first videos, I'm like, oh God, it's so bad. It's embarrassing.
They have to be bad.
They do.
They have to be bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to document.
Yeah.
Ship it even when it's bad, because otherwise if you don't ship it, then you're never going to do the second one. You're never going to get good.
Exactly. Just kept going.
Do you have a formula that you're trying to work on with your vlogs? Do you just kind of whip out the camera and start filming?
I just kind of do whatever. Whenever I have time to do it, I'll do it. It's obviously pretty tricky with a kid, and I admire those YouTubers that can pull out the camera every single day, and they have like 3 kids and they're like ready to go and edit until 5 a.m. But for me, I think it's just like, I just go with it. It's like some days I wake up and I'm like, I kind of feel like I want to vlog today. And then other days I'm like, no, not happening.
You think though you kind of miss the consistency of it though?
Oh, totally. 100%. I like, because we were pretty consistent when I was pregnant. Like we tried to upload at least every day, or probably like every 5 days, I would say. And it's exhilarating uploading that often because you're just gaining so much like interactions, I'd say. And at this point, it sucks when you get so busy that you can't do something that you really want to do. But it's just kind of the way how it goes.
You have to make time though. Like if
totally.
it's something you want to do, you make time, and hopefully you continue to make time, because I think Kamloops right now doesn't really have a face of new media.
Right.
But you kind of alluded to this whole influencer space. This micro-influencer is a space that I think is quite interesting right now.
Yeah.
Where have you had any work with anyone because of your space, or because of the limelight that kind of was cast on you?
Like I've had like companies reach out to me and ask to send me things to post on like Instagram and stuff and like talk about on YouTube, which is pretty cool. It's a very exciting thing to be sent something for free and be like, can you just talk about it? Or so I usually only will, like, I'll reach out to companies a lot of the time too, and it's only companies that like I truly enjoy their like things, and I know that I can make good use out of their things. I'm not gonna promote something that like really sucks, obviously, which I know a lot of people do just for the free stuff or just for the money, or but
gotta drink that fit tea, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I have been able to work with like a few companies, and like a lot of local, like around Vancouver area companies and stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty
Who are
much
a couple other local micro influencers you're kind of watching around town?
So on Instagram, I would say. My friend Summer, has quite a big following. It's around 5K. She's also a young mom. She just had her second today. And then also, today, not today. This is my mom brain going again. It was 3 days ago.
Okay, but very
recently. Yeah. So she just had her second like 3 days ago. And then my other friend is Bethany, and she's the Blush Mom on Instagram, and she has a really large following. I'm quite impressed with what she's done with her Instagram, and it's just, she's very real and amazing. She is, I think, 12.8 at this point, but before I actually knew her, I always I'd follow her everything on Instagram, and I was like, oh, she looks so sweet, and she posts the cutest things about her kids and just like really real life stuff, and I just love that. And then I finally got to meet up with her, and she was just as amazing in person, which was pretty cool. But yeah, so we've connected through social media.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've made some good friends through social media, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting project. The localness of this podcast has allowed me to meet some really interesting people, but also seeing their networks, all located here in Kamloops, all really great content creators, and seeing them work and collaborate. It's really, really exciting time.
Yeah.
We're coming towards the end of kind of the podcast there. Kayla, you started a photography business. Where can people find that? Reach out to you? What are you offering for services and whatnot?
I am. So I'm on Instagram as Kayla Dixon Photography, and as well Facebook as the exact same. And right now I'm doing shoots for, I think right now it's $85 for around 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm booking for July. So I'm all booked up for June right now, but I would love to take bookings for July, August, whenever, really.
What's your specialty? Is portraits, shots?
Portraits, I'd say. I love doing couples. That's kind of like my main passion right now. Eventually, I'd like to get to be able to do like elopements and weddings. That would be sweet. But I have a ways away before I get there. But I'm loving doing couples right now.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for agreeing to meet with me. I know it's been a little while, and like I said, my schedule is crazy. Your schedule is crazy, so I'm glad we worked it out. Check out Kayla's work on Instagram. Check her out on YouTube, Mama K. Throw in Kamloops to make sure you can find her. You know, I think we need more Kamloops YouTubers out there. There's not a lot of them, and the ones that I'm finding are few and far between. But thank you once again for tuning into the Cameo podcast, and hoping to make this more consistent pretty soon. Trying to solidify a couple of things so that we have a much tighter ship. A podcast, and so continue to tune in. If you're interested, reach out to me on Instagram. Let's figure out some time. Let's chat. Let's try and tell your story. And thank you for tuning in. Cheers.